You've been training for months, maybe years, and you still don't fully understand why your muscles grow. That's not an insult. That's the industry's fault. Because most of what you've heard is wrong. Today we fix that. 3 mechanisms drive muscle growth: mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage. 3, not 7, not some secret protocol. 3, know them, apply them, grow faster. Here's the science. Mechanism 1, mechanical tension. Of the 3 primary mechanisms of muscle hypertrophy, mechanical tension is the most important and non-negotiable driver of long-term muscle growth. Full stop. This is the foundation. Everything else is secondary. Here's what's happening inside your muscle right now. When you lift a weight, your muscle fibers produce tension to overcome that load. This mechanical force creates physical strain on the muscle tissue, triggering a cascade of cellular responses that lead to muscle protein synthesis and hypertrophy. Picture the bar loaded. You're at the bottom of a squat. Every fiber in your quads is screaming under load. That's not pain, that's signal. That's your body being told to adapt. The mTOR pathway activates and increases translation of muscle-building proteins. This is your body's master switch for muscle growth, and heavy loads flip it more effectively than lighter ones. Feel that. Deep quad stretch at the bottom. Bar heavy, muscles fully loaded. That's mechanical tension working. Mechanical tension occurs when muscles are subjected to force, particularly during eccentric and concentric contractions. Both phases matter. The lowering, the lifting, control both. Don't waste either. Mechanical tension is most effectively produced by compound movements performed with progressive overload in the 6 to 20 rep range. That's your window, 6 to 20. Heavy compounds, full range, controlled tempo, that's the non-negotiable. And progressive overload is not optional. It's the whole game. Volume, typically measured as the number of hard sets per muscle group per week, is the primary driver of hypertrophy above a minimum effective threshold. More volume produces more muscle growth up to a maximum recoverable volume, beyond which additional work impairs rather than enhances adaptation. Research indicates the minimum effective dose is roughly 4 sets per muscle group per week. The optimal range is 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week, and beyond 20+ sets gains plateau and recovery suffers. More is not always more. Smarter is more. Mechanism 2, metabolic stress. Now the burn, you know the feeling. High rep set, lungs working, muscles on fire. That's metabolic stress. And here's what's actually happening at the cellular level. Metabolic stress is a physiological process that occurs during exercise in response to low energy, leading to metabolite accumulation, lactate, inorganic phosphate, and hydrogen ions in muscle cells. Metabolic stress refers to the accumulation of these metabolic byproducts during high rep or short rest training. The cellular swelling and metabolite accumulation appear to contribute to hypertrophy through hormonal and cell signaling mechanisms distinct from mechanical tension. That pump you feel? That skin-splitting fullness in your biceps at the end of a drop set? That's cell swelling. This accumulation creates a feeling of muscle fullness or the pump and promotes sarcoplasmic hypertrophy by causing cells to swell and stimulating growth pathways. Here's the practical application. Metabolic stress is optimally generated with moderate repetitions around 10 to 15 reps using about 70% of your 1 rep max. Short rest periods, continuous tension on the muscle, no locking out, no releasing tension at the top. Keep the fiber under load, feel it burn. That burn is metabolite buildup. That's the signal you want. Metabolic stress is best activated via lighter weights and medium to high repetitions, performed with a slow tempo and a high mind-muscle connection. But here's where most people get this completely wrong. They think the burn means growth. They chase the burn like it's the whole answer. It's not. It's one tool. Current research indicates that mechanical tension is the dominant mechanism and should be prioritized in program design. Metabolic stress and muscle damage are complementary mechanisms that advanced programming can deliberately target, but they're secondary to progressive mechanical tension. Metabolic stress is a weapon. Use it, don't worship it. Mechanism 3, muscle damage. This is the most misunderstood mechanism, and the most dangerous myth in all of fitness lives here. We're killing it right now. Muscle damage occurs when fibers sustain microtears during intense exercise, particularly during eccentric contractions. This damage prompts an inflammatory response and subsequent repair, leading to more muscular, larger muscle fibers. Think about the lowering phase of a barbell curl, slow descent, bicep fully lengthened under load. That's where damage is highest. That eccentric stretch under load is powerful. Use it. Control every rep down. Don't drop the weight. Own the negative. Eccentric loading, the lowering phase of an exercise, is particularly effective at producing soreness because muscles can generate high levels of force while lengthening under load. Now, the myth, the one that's been costing you results and probably adding unnecessary pain to your training. Ready? Soreness does not equal growth. The myth that soreness equals progress is pervasive and genuinely harmful to how people train. DOMES is not correlated with muscle protein synthesis. It's not a proxy for hypertrophic stimulus. It's not a reliable indicator of how productive your session was. You can have an excellent growth-promoting training session and feel almost nothing the next day. You can do something novel and jarring, be barely able to move for a week, and have accomplished very little in terms of meaningful adaptation. That's not an opinion. That's the science. Researchers reviewed the evidence and concluded that post-exercise muscle soreness is not a valid indicator of muscle damage or growth. Several studies show muscles can grow without soreness, and conversely, muscles can be sore without significant hypertrophic stimulus. Training volume, intensity, proximity to failure, and progressive overload are the actual drivers of growth. Soreness is mostly a signal of novelty, your tissue meeting unfamiliar mechanical stress, not productivity. Stop chasing the limp, start chasing the load. And here's the flip side. Too much damage is actively harmful. Recent research cautions against excessive damage, as chronic inflammation may hinder recovery and performance. More isn't more. You need enough muscle damage to signal adaptation. You don't need to destroy yourself every session to get there. The cellular blueprint, what's actually happening inside. You've got the three mechanisms. Now zoom in. What's happening at the fiber level when all three are working together? Muscle growth during hypertrophy is controlled at the translational level, through the stimulation of protein synthesis, and at the transcriptional level through the activation of ribosomal RNAs and muscle-specific genes. mTORT1 has a central role in the regulation of both protein synthesis and ribosomal biogenesis. That's your cellular engine. Mechanical tension turns it on. Metabolic stress keeps the signal running. Muscle damage triggers the repair crew, and that repair crew has a name. mTOR-dependent protein synthesis and myonuclear accretion by muscle satellite cells are two major processes in muscle hypertrophy. Satellite cells are your muscle's stem cells. They donate new nuclei to growing fibers. More nuclei means more capacity to produce protein. More protein means bigger fibers. In response to the mechanical load induced by physical activity, skeletal muscle exerts several local adaptations, including an increase in myofiber size and myonuclear number, known as muscle hypertrophy. That's the whole chain. Tension applied, mTOR activated, satellite cells recruited, protein synthesized, fiber grows. Repeat. That's hypertrophy, not magic, not mystery. A cascade of signals. Your training either triggers or doesn't. Putting it together, train smarter, starting now. 3 mechanisms, 3 levers. Here's how you pull all of them in a single program. Mechanical tension is your foundation. Compound movements. Progressive overload. Aim for heavy, low-rep sets, using compound movements with a slow, controlled tempo and full range of motion. This approach maximizes tension and encourages muscle fiber engagement, supporting myofibrillar hypertrophy. This is your primary work. Bench, squat, row, deadlift, pull-up. These are non-negotiable. Metabolic stress is your finishing work. After the heavy compounds, add isolation movements. Pump sets, higher reps, shorter rest. Training volume of 10 to 20 hard sets per muscle group per week, distributed across 2 to 3 sessions, produces optimal results for most intermediate lifters. Spread it out. Hit each muscle more than once a week. Frequency amplifies the signal. Muscle damage is managed, not maximized. Stopping 1 to 2 reps, short of failure on most sets, optimizes the stimulus to fatigue ratio better than training to failure every set. Save true failure for a final set. Control your eccentric, slow the negative. Feel the stretch. Don't wreck yourself chasing soreness. And the burn during your set? That's information, not the goal. While DOMS often accompanies resistance training, it is not a prerequisite for muscle hypertrophy. Studies indicate that hypertrophy can occur independently of muscle soreness or damage. Your metrics are simple. Are you lifting more weight over time? Are you doing more reps with the same weight? Are you adding sets progressively? If yes, you're growing. If no, adjust. It really is that direct. The science is not complicated. The execution is what separates results from excuses. Mechanical tension, metabolic stress, muscle damage. 3 mechanisms, 1 goal, 1 body. No more guessing. Your challenge is set. Stop guessing. Start your plan.